What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic Saturday, a great weekend. I appreciate all of you taking the time here. If you have any questions, comments, you know I'd love to hear from you, but this is not a live video. We are going through, getting a little training camp preview going on, positional breakdown of each position here. We went through all of the offense. Go check those bad boys out. We're going to talk about the special teams here today, and then next week we'll be getting into the defense. So I appreciate all of you. Again, hope you're all doing well out there, enjoying your weekend. Appreciate you guys hitting the like button, sharing this stuff, subscribing to the channel, everything you're doing. I cannot thank you enough for all of the support. Been a wild week. Enjoying this beautiful Saturday. I hope you are too. But we got some special teams to talk about. And I know, that's a specialist, some people are thinking, but guess what? I'm going to try to make it as entertaining as I possibly can. Going to give you the return specialist as well. We're going to talk about everything just like we do each position. And I'm also going to give you those new kickoff rules so you know everything that's going down here. And you know what? Let's just talk about them right now. Took some pictures from NFL.com, slapped them on there so you can see for yourself the new rules. The ball's kicked from the 35-yard line, same as current rules. Safety kicks would be from the 20-yard line, same as current. Okay. All kicking team other than the kicker will line up 1 foot on the receiving team's 40-yard line. The A's and B's, I don't know, whatever. Kicker cannot cross opponents and then your own. Kicker cannot cross the 50-yard line until the ball touches the ground of the player in the landing zone or end zone. The 10 kicking team players cannot move until the ball hits the ground or the player in the landing zone or the end zone. So nobody can move until this player catches the ball. So this is going to make this so much more different. You talk about some of these guys that are strictly punt returners, some of them that are just strictly kick returners, and that game will be changed. So some of these guys like Covey, who are strictly punt returners, they can help you as a kick returner. So, hey, let's check out some more of this stuff. You can see the setup zone 5-yard area from the 35 to the 30, where at least 9 receiving team players must line up. 7 players. Well, you guys can see all of this. Players not on the returning line must be lined up. So if you want to pause this, take a gander at this. It is all very small and hurting my eyes to read it, but you can see all of the news here. And the landing zone area between the receiving team's goal line and its 20-yard line. So that's the landing zone where that ball either has to hit or the player touches it, and then those players can move. Any kick that hits short of that 20-yard line, the landing zone there, treated the kickoff out of bounds and the ball spotted at the 40. So you either hit that end zone or you get it out. So it's going to be very intriguing to see if players want to grab that if it's short or just allow it to go to the 40. Any kick that hits in the landing zone must be returned. So it has to be returned once it hits the landing zone. Short of the landing zone, treated like kickoff out of bounds and ball. Okay, so why does it say that it hits the short of the landing zone? Oh, if it's short of the landing zone, then that's at the 40. So again, if it's at like the 22, 23, just let it go. Or maybe you see a big seam and you want to take it. That should be intriguing. But then you see any kick that hits in the landing zone, they got to return it. So if it's within the 20, they got to take that thing. Any kick that hits in the landing zone and then goes into the end zone must be returned or down by the receiving team. If down, then the touchback to the 20-yard line. So not the 25 anymore. Kick hits in the end zone, stays in bounds, returned or down. If down, the touchback to the 30-yard line. Okay. Any kick that goes out of the back of the end zone and the ball touches, that's to the 30-yard line. So you see all these different rules. You can see here, if you guys want to check out some of these penalties and miscellaneous rules, you can see that, there's some onside kick stuff here, the penalties. No fair catch or signal is allowed. Officials will blow the play dead. Okay. If conditions cause ball to fall off tee twice, the kicker will be allowed to use kicking stick to keep the ball in place. Oh, okay. So there's some different things that you see. And, obviously the most important here with talking about the returners is the fact that, the kickoff is completely different here. So you're going to see guys, different guys getting opportunity, running backs, receivers, defensive backs, all with a lot of opportunities, anybody who can return the ball. So, but those are predominantly the players. So let's get this started. Now, with the specialist, the kicker, punter, long snapper, the Eagles didn't add or lose anyone. We retained all three of our guys. Lovato and Mann are back. We restructured Elliott, as we talked about this offseason, what happened. So you got those guys locked in, tied for the highest paid kicker there. Love that. But we did make some changes to the return game. And, I've been pretty damn ecstatic about it this offseason. You've heard me. Look, Penny, Scott, Watkins, Zacchaeus, all of those guys rarely used in the return game, but those are guys that we did have in the chamber there. But you can see here, all of the players we did add that can help in the return game. And you can see I went with the offense first. You can see some receivers here in the draft, some free agents. Then you look at some running backs that we've added. Then the defensive backs that we've added that all have themselves some return capability. We're going to talk about all of them here. But I just wanted to show you, we lost some guys, and certain people feel a certain way about some of these guys, not used on offense or not used in special teams. Well, you just added a plethora of guys that can help you in the special teams area. So the loss of those guys, not that big of a deal. You got a lot of talent here that can help you in this return game. So very excited about it, but nobody to, add or lose there because, again, we retained our guys. So looking at those three, Jake Elliott, one of the best kickers, if not the best kicker in the NFL, out of Memphis, going into his 8th year. That's really crazy to think about. You think about his rookie year, winning a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Like, has it really been that long? Okay, let's go get that trophy back, baby. So Jake Elliott, this dude has the most 50-plus yard field goals in Eagles history with 27, including the playoffs. We know who Jake Elliott is, one of the better kickers in the league. Love this dude. And Rick Lovato, one of the better long snappers. He helped us win that Super Bowl we talked about. And he's the first guy, long snapper for the Eagles to get a Pro Bowl since Rick Lovato, John Dorenbos. Took me forever to stop saying Dorenbos. Now I'm calling, okay. But then you have Braden Mann here. This kid was actually a linebacker in high school. You wouldn't think it. Look at him. I know a lot of people got jokes, but this dude in his first year with the Eagles set franchise records in both gross yards and net punting yards average. So, dude, you had to bring him back this offseason. We talked about that. The Eagles did bring him back. So all three of these guys, very excited about it. You see Lovato changing his number from 45 to 49, allowing Devin White to get that number, but excited about these guys and ready to see the specialists shine. But I know what you want to hear about, and that is those return specialists. So I've got 12 guys here that I think can all help you. And look, Covey, obviously, I got a lot of slack last year for talking about why you should keep him, a great returner. Well, he led the NFL. He had 417 punt return yards last year. He was the only player with multiple 50-plus yard punt returns, and he had he was tied for the most 10-plus yards. He had the most 15-plus yarders. He had the most 20-plus yarders and 25-plus yarders. He was tied for the most. So, he did pretty damn good. He had the most punt returns and punt return yards in the NFL since 2022. And he has, again, since 2022, he's got the most 15-plus yards, 20, 25, and 50. So this dude is really good, and we need to see him develop as a receiver, but in the return game, he is one of the best, and he is third in the NFL in punt average since 2022. So the last couple of years, he is only behind Khalif Raymond and Rashid Shaheed, who are considered two of the better return men in the game. So respect that man, Britton Covey, but we're going to need to see more in, the area of receiver. So we'll see to get that done. And, you've got other wide receivers up there. You got Paris Campbell, and a lot of people like this kid. He is a friend, and he considers LeBron James a mentor, went to Ohio State. And this is a dude that obviously played for the Giants, who suck. So you're hoping, a change of scenery can help him out as a receiver and as a return man. That works out well. Now, in the NFL, he's a 24.4 kick return yard average, a 30.4 average at Ohio State. So he's got the talent to return the ball. We'll see if he can help in that area, give himself, a claim to why he should make this roster. But guys like Ainias Smith, who he only averaged 18 yards per kick return in college, but he averaged 10.2 in punt return and had 2 punt return touchdowns. I love Ainias Smith. You guys know he was one of my pre-draft fits for the Eagles. Excited about his game as a receiver, runner, and as a returner. So I'm excited, and I think he's going to give some real damn good competition. And another receiver there John Ross. And this is a dude we know that 4.23 speed. And in college, he had 86 kick returns for 2,069 yards. That's a 24-yard average with 4 touchdowns. So he can definitely return the ball. He did it in Washington. And then when in the NFL, he only had 1. That was for 13 yards. And he's had 4 punt returns in college for 21 yards. Never done it now in the NFL. So we talk about this. I don't think he has experience, but with the new rules, why not give him a shot? And then sure enough, during those OTAs, they did have him back there. So we'll see if he can prove he can help in that area, revive his career, maybe make it on this roster or the practice squad. We shall see. But then I have some running backs up here, and rookie Will Shipley. You got a guy that, had a 25.6 kick return yard average. I think that, I've another one of my pre-draft fits for the Eagles. I thought, the way he runs the ball, catches the ball in the backfield and helps in the return game, a perfect fit for the Eagles. So maybe he can help us out in the return game. I would be all for it. You got a couple other running backs in Tyrion Davis-Price, Lou Nichols below him. And, I think that, these guys were given a chance in OTAs, but they've never done it in their careers. But, hey, they've got the talent. We talked about the new rules there. So maybe even a guy like Kendall Milton, who never had any returns at Georgia, but was part of the practice return team. So maybe he gets a shot there as well. But Kenny Gainwell, he has actually returned the ball 9 times for us, kick return, 156 yards, a 17.3 yard average. So not too great here. And I know people feel a certain way, but he can block if he helps you in the return game. All right, why not? Then I've got some defensive players. You can see Sean Stevens next, Kenny G. His number is 47, but 41 in there. So Sean Stevens, this is the kid we talked about, Joey Porter's nephew. Led the league in interceptions last couple of years. We'll get into the defense. I don't want to get too caught up in that because we're talking about returners, but he only had 2 kick returns. That was for 137 yards, but one of them was for 100. He had a 100-yard touchdown, and this dude, we talked about his ability with the ball in his hands. So if he can prove himself as a returner, maybe he makes it as that back end, defensive back who can help you in multiple areas, not just special teams, but, as a nickel, maybe some safety work, whatever he can do to get out there. Nothing but the best wishes for this kid. Really excited about his game. And if he can help in the return game, let's effing go. And then you got Tyler Hall, free agent addition here. And, this dude, 28 kick returns in college. He had 887 yards, a 31.7 yard average, and 2 touchdowns. Now, he's been with the Falcons, the Raiders, the Rams when they won the Super Bowl there in 21. But no return experience in the NFL yet, but dude, he's got the talent. We talk about his ability, he being versatile, just like Sean Stevens. I think that is going to bode well for him. And if he can help in the return game here, that will definitely build his case. Now, talking about this back on the top list here with the defensive backs, Cooper DeJean, dude, talk about him with the ball in his hands. Now, he's only had 1 kick return for 20 yards. He did have 31 punt returns for 406 yards. That's a 13.1 yard per punt return average. That's awesome. 1 touchdown. And this dude, if you've seen him, when he gets the ball in his hand, he works his magic. Love this kid. Cannot wait to see him grow as the future here in the secondary. And hey, while he's young, and he's not, getting the most defensive snaps like he will in a year or two. I think, hey, maybe you use him in the return game. He could definitely be there to compete. He's got the talent. Would love to see it. Now, the guy I'm saving for last, Isaiah Rodgers. Now, the thing that comes down to is he going to ball out and get a starting corner job? Because if so, then I don't think you're, using him as a returner. But this dude, he can definitely make some moves. He's got great speed, just like his cousin, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. We all remember him. But in college, he had 99 kick returns for 2,338 yards. That's a 23.6 yard average. He had 21 punt returns for 156 yards, 7.4 yard average with a touchdown. Then in the NFL, he's had 61 kick returns, 1,645 yards. That's a 26.9 yard average with a touchdown. And he had 3 punt returns for 25 yards. This dude with the ball in his hands, we talk about him, as a defensive back. Cannot wait to see what he does. But as a returner, he can definitely help. I mean, this dude has been slept on all offseason. I'm glad people are finally waking up as to who he is. I've tried my best for like 6 months to a year trying to get this dude on the show, but I think he is a real gem, and people are going to find out real quick who this kid is. I can't wait to talk about him as a corner here in a couple of days during that defensive back show. But as a returner, he can definitely help you, and I'm definitely excited about it. Let me know how you're feeling about those returners, who you like. But I put together a little projected depth chart like I have for each position. Obviously, the specialists are there holding down their jobs, but this thing, man, it could really shape out in a million different ways. They had CJ Gardner-Johnson back there at one point. We know Devontae Smith can be used there, so I just had their names on there. But we're going to find out in training camp here in a couple of weeks who they want to put back there, who's looking real good. And, obviously you got to make the team at your actual position first. But if you can prove yourself as a returner, that goes a long way. So a lot of guys fighting for a lot of jobs, especially that crowded secondary, the wide receivers, a lot of young talent. So a lot of questions to be had here. I'd love to hear if you have any questions, you have any thoughts on any of these guys. Who stands out to you? Who do you want to see as the punt returner, kick returner? Do you think we use just one guy? Do you think Covey gets beat out by Ainias Smith so he doesn't even make the team? Or does he develop his game as a receiver? Whatever you think, I'd love to hear from you, but that's all I've got for you here today. I hope you're all enjoying your weekend. Again, would love to hear from you. Appreciate you hitting that like button, sharing this stuff, subscribing to the channel, all of it. It does not go unnoticed. I truly cannot thank all of you sickos enough. But you know what I'm going to be asking for in a second here. It's been a beautiful day. I hope you're enjoying your weekend, but that is all I have got for you. Hope this is able to get you a little closer. We're 55 days away, baby, from Eagles football. Get excited. It'll be here before you know it. But until next time, I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your weekend. And as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!